Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. These are my honest audiophile thoughts, opinions, and more than likely, rant. Like, there's a lot been going on lately. There's been a lot of videos and comments on forums and just Discord servers and all kinds of things. There's been a lot of discussion. And everybody has an opinion. And everybody's free to speak their opinion. And I get it. I totally understand. But some of it, I think I need to clarify my thoughts and opinions on. Not sure if this video will ever go public, but if it does, keep an open mind on it, and just remember it's my thoughts and opinions and my reasonings, and that's all. Okay, so big discussions have been abound lately that DACs and amplifiers don't make a difference. I totally disagree with that. I do hear a difference between DACs. I do hear a difference in amplifiers. Not every single one. And a lot of times the differences are very subtle. But I do hear a difference. Let me explain. So I've had a setup behind me for quite a while. I've had a Mytek Liberty DAC. And I know that DAC and amp very well. I know exactly how it sounds. It's a very neutral and natural sounding DAC and amp. Very good detail retrieval and resolution, and it has a very emotional approach to things, and it sounds lifelike and realistic to my ears. I also have a Headamp GSX Mini, which is a very neutral, uncolored amplifier, and it portrays the differences of different gear that's plugged into it. I also have a THX AAA 1 linear, which is basically a mini GSX Mini with a slighter, little bit warmer tone to it. And I also have a Tor Audio Roger, which I use randomly on occasions. And I have the Wharfdale D310 speakers. Those have been around for quite a while, especially the Mytek Liberty, the GSX Mini, and the 1 linear. They've sat on my desk for a long time. Whenever I review DACs and amps, they get compared to those. Doesn't matter the price point, they get compared to what's on my desk. And I hear differences, and I point them out. I can hear differences in DACs and amps. Why? Because I have a neutral setup. And I know exactly what each one of those components does. And so when something gets changed out or added in, I can hear that difference, as subtle as it be. Now, there's a lot of DACs and amps within certain price points that have very similar DAC chips in them, and they all pretty much sound the same. And if all the reviewers are using the same stuff, guess what? We're going to say these all sound the same. I don't hear a difference. Because it's true. Certain price points, they all do sound the same. Or very, very similar. And it's extremely hard to hear the differences. But I do believe that DACs and amps make a difference. And it doesn't matter what the topologies are. There's differences. In DACs, if it's multi-bit, R2R, whether or not it has an AK chip or a Sabre chip or Burr Brown or Wolfson, you can hear the differences, as subtle as they are. Can I tell you exactly what DAC chip's in it? No, I'm not that good. But I can tell you it's a little different than my Mytek. Same thing with amplifiers. Whether or not it's Class A, Class AB, Class D, it's a tube amplifier, single-ended balance, that type of thing. You can hear little subtle differences, and some reveal it differently than others. There's a caveat to this, though. You have to have revealing gear in order to hear a difference. If you're using meandering, middling budget gear, more than likely you aren't going to hear the difference. I'm not saying you have to have something freaky expensive, $60,000 or some ridiculous number, but you do have to have some quality gear in order to hear the differences. And the gear has to be resolving. If you don't have good, detailed resolving gear, you're not going to hear differences. The other thing, and this is big and it drives me nuts, people that say music doesn't matter. And they're referring to the genres of music, the artists, the styles, and they're also referring to the bit depths and the types of files, and whether or not something is recorded well with good mixing and mastering. And it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. Garbage in, garbage out. Music is your starting point. If the song and the file is recorded atrociously bad, it doesn't matter how good and how expensive your gear is, it's gonna sound bad. Garbage in, garbage out. So your music is your first thing in. It's your starting point. So if you don't have quality music files, everything's gonna sound like garbage. Period. And it's extremely important for a reviewer to have quality reference tracks. Now, I'm not saying you can't listen to a badly recorded file. Okay? I listen to badly recorded music. In fact, I use some of it to test my gear and to test my ears. But in order to be able to hear differences in products and to know whether or not they're good resolving, you have to have quality music. If you're using trash music recordings, you're not going to hear differences in gear because it's all going to sound bad. Also, use good quality genres of music as your references. Fine, if you love whatever type of music, metal, rap, EDM, pure bass, all treble, whatever type of music you like, that's your preference and your preferred for your everyday listen, fine. But if you're reviewing, have some quality reference tracks, especially tracks that are in the jazz, acoustical, and classical genres. Doesn't have to be fully dominated by that, but you have to have some quality tracks that you use as references. Why? Because those type of instruments and those type of tracks are the best revealing for accurate tone and timbre. Also, another thing, since we're talking about tone and timbre, understand what an actual instrument sounds like, and also understand whether or not you can tell a difference between an instrument being acoustically played or being electronically synthesized or digitized. I've seen a lot of comments and by reviewers recommending music and saying this is an acoustically recorded track when it's not. Understand your music, understand your instrument, and understand how it's recorded, mixed, and mastered. Now, you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be like this uber 100% nerd on every single track, but at least be able to know whether or not the track is recorded properly and whether or not the instrument being used is a digital electronic synthesized version of it, or if it's an actual acoustical. Music is uber important, and music is the hobby we are in. I don't know of too many people that sit and listen to sine waves for relaxation, that sit and listen to sine waves or any of the other electronic beeps and measures for their everyday listening pleasure. I know for me, I didn't have a recording of sine waves in my Walkman as a kid, just walking down the street. Oh no, I was just jamming away to Metallica, Rush, and all kinds of other great music, not sine waves. Graphs and measurements tell you how gear will sound. No, it won't. It will give you slight information. Graphs and measurements are a tool. They are not the final say. Way too many reviewers depend on the graph for the review. Way too many reviewers depend on the graph to tell them exactly how the gear sounds. And they're wrong. When you look at a graph or measurements, you cannot tell what the tone will be. You cannot tell what the timbre will be. You cannot tell how wide of a soundstage it'll have. You cannot tell what kind of depth it will have in that soundstage. You cannot tell what kind of layering it will have. You also can't tell how well detailed or how well resolving the gear will be. You also don't know whether or not it will be warm, cold, dark, hot, bright. There's indicators that might say, this might have that tendency, but it's not guaranteed. There's a lot of headphones, IEMs, that measure that have rolled off treble, but when you listen to them, they're very well extended and have a nice presence and good air to it. But yeah, according to the graph, it doesn't look it. There's a lot of headphones and IEMs that have big sub-bass presence, and you're going to think that they're going to be massively big, heavy bass head gear, and they're not. There's also a lot that roll off early, but yet they have sub-bass presence. Graphs don't tell you everything. There's also a lot of them, a lot of things that are elevated in the presence region or very forward, with like a huge peak in the mids, and so you're going to think that they're forward, and they're not. They're more cohesive and balanced. Implementation plays a large part in that. Also, driver technology, shelves design, cup design, pads, tips, cables, components used, all kinds of other things also affect that. Plus, amazingly, our ears dictate how we hear things. Wow, it's just mind-boggling that our ears play a part in that. I just can't get it. I'm just amazed that people forget that we have ears and that when we're reviewing things, we should use them. We should use our ears instead of the graphs. I don't have a problem with you using graphs to confirm things, to verify things, to see if maybe, I suspected that it had that rise. Sure enough, the graph shows it. Listen to the gear and use the tools of a graph and a measurement as a tool, not as the final say. EQ fixes the sonic flaws. No, it doesn't. EQ puts a band-aid on sonic flaws. EQ is a tool. EQ is not a crutch. Unfortunately, it has been a crutch of many reviewers and a lot of listeners. There's a lot of viewers and reviewers that will immediately put in EQ before they even listen to the device. Or they'll listen to the device once and immediately start EQing it. How about giving it a chance? How about listening to different music? How about trying some different gear before you start tweaking it? Use a little patience. Have a little fun. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the gear. EQ can fix nothing. EQ temporarily puts a band-aid on the issues. EQ will reveal areas that may be flawed and how things can be repaired going forward, but they do not fix a sonic flaw permanently. EQ is a tool. Change subjects a little bit. It's been a lot of attacks, a lot of just snobbery from elitists. And unfortunately, there has been a lot of agreements from reviewers and the followers to this type of activity. And it's really disheartening. Manufacturers coming out and saying that reviewers aren't qualified to review their products because they don't have X type of room, or they do this or they do that. They don't have this type of product available. They don't have this gear. They don't have that. And they just turn their nose up to those reviewers. That's just wrong. That's just elitism. And then you have other reviewers that are coming in going, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. You also have just snobism. Turning away from certain reviewers or certain viewers or, certain products because it has this or that, MQA. Oh, that has MQA and I'm never touching an MQA product. I don't want it to be. Okay. Who cares if it has MQA capabilities? If you don't listen to MQA, what does it matter? Don't use it. Or, this one is made so-and-so, or this one was designed by so-and-so, or blah, blah, blah. How about giving things a chance? Or just because somebody reviews a product that you don't like doesn't mean that you can't watch another one of their reviews. Or just because someone does a video like I'm doing right now and you disagree with it doesn't mean you can't watch one of their other reviews. Who knows? I mean, come on. Can't we all just get along? I mean, agree to disagree. Sure, there's going to be personality clashes and things are going to rub you wrong. I totally understand that. But at the same time, be respectful and understanding. You don't have to be a butthole about it. Just, if you don't like it, you don't agree with it, just move along. You don't have to rub everybody's noses in it that you are premium and they're not. That they're not qualified. The other thing that's really been bothersome, and it's been going on for a long time, but it's really, really starting to really just irk me, is sound demos. Sound demos don't reveal what a product's going to sound like. Sound demos reveal what somebody else's music's recordings uploaded to YouTube is going to sound like on your product. Doesn't actually reveal what the actual product is that they're demoing. You might be able to hear a few differences here and there, but they're not revealing what the actual product sounds like. Can we just move on from those? To me, they're just dumb and stupid and useless. Another one is, all you ever need is an Apple dongle. Okay, for one, not everybody has an Apple device. Two, I tried an Apple dongle. And I used it on 3 different Android devices. Now, I do not have an Apple device. So I tried it on 3 different Android devices. I tried it on a PC and several other things. And the thing's rubbish. It sounds like garbage. Now, who knows? Maybe it is the most incredible sounding device when played on an Apple. I can't confirm that because I've never heard it on an Apple device. But I can tell you this. It didn't really impress me on anything else. It wasn't even that great of a dongle. Things sounded okay on some. Others sounded like horrible. Just god-awful. Terrible. So when you say Apple dongle's the only thing you need, no, it's not. How about you get a dongle that works with anything? iOS, Android, PC, Linux. Tell you what, try a periodic audio rhodium. It works with all of those. And it sounds great with all of them. except I haven't tested it with iOS, but I have a really dear friend who has and is a big avid iOS user, and they love it. And they say that it is a great dongle, and they use it every single day. Oh, but it's $50. It's so expensive. You know what? Most reviewers have spent $50 easy on other products. So just go get a periodic audio Rhodium, use it in your reviews, thank me later. Okay. Affiliate links are bad. No, they're not. I have no problem with affiliate links. I have some down below. I don't shill them. I don't talk about them very much. But if you want to use it, go for it. Guess what? They're just a way of you, the viewer, being able to support the user or the reviewer at that time. If you want to use it. If not, fine. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't make a living off of affiliate links, and I don't even, I don't make enough money for them to make an impact in my hobby, even though I do use those funds to support my hobby and my review channel. They really haven't impacted anything as far as purchases. I've gotten a few funds and have purchased a few items, which I've mentioned whenever I reviewed them. But I ain't going to retire. Not based off of that income. Sponsors are bad. No, they're not. Sponsors are a little different than an affiliate link. I don't think you should be sponsored by a product that you review or something that helps you to review a product. So for example, pretty much anything you see behind me other than the lamp and my monitor and a couple of little knickknacks, I wouldn't review any of those things behind me because they're associated with listening to music. But something else like a lamp, a monitor, something like that, sure. If you want to sponsor my channel, I'd consider it. I've been asked to be sponsored by some of the music streaming services and have discount codes for my viewers. Won't do it because that influences me. I have to use that product, and I feel like if I'm being sponsored by something, it has to be a product that I stand by. And so the music service, I would be shilling the music service that wanted to sponsor me. And again, that would be something that I would be using with the channel. So no. If it's going to influence my reviews, no, I won't have it be a sponsor. As far as affiliate links, if affiliate link ever comes to me, one of those companies ever comes to me and asks me to give a positive review or asks me to push the review so that it'll drive more sales, I will immediately cut that affiliate link and I won't associate with them. I won't have anything to do with those affiliate links if they are trying to influence my review. All of the companies that I have affiliate links with just want an honest review. They've never asked me to give a positive spin or to drive sales in any way. Paid reviews are bad. I agree with that to the most part. I do think that some paid reviews can be honest and helpful, but when a paid review is just there to bring income to the channel and they are just giving positive spins on everything and they're just pushing product for the manufacturer and they're basically turning into a salesman, then yeah, that's wrong. But if it's you are being rewarded for your hard work, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as they're being open and honest about it and admitting it. And as long as the paid part is different from the actual review part. So as long as the company isn't telling them what to say, isn't influencing them in any way as far as this product needs to go out this way, need to be presented this way, I don't have a problem with you being paid for it. But if they are being told how to script the review and then getting paid for it, yeah, that's a problem. I do have a question though. If paid reviews are so bad, why is it okay for some vendors and sellers to have staff reviewers that are paid? And why is it that those channels are considered to be the elite, premium, premier, final say in reviews, if paid reviews are so bad and evil? All right, so in conclusion, it's been frustrating. It's just been ridiculous, because why can't we all just get along? Why does it have to be all of this person's wrong, this person's right, and I'm teaming up with this person, and we're shunning this person, we're snobbing this person, this person's not qualified, this person's uneducated, this person doesn't have the proper gear, and I agree with this one, and we're, you know what? Just enjoy the music. Enjoy the gear that you have, and use your God-given blessed ears to enjoy it. And if it sounds good to you, that's all that matters. Who cares what everybody else says, really? It's what goes in here. Does it sound good? Use quality music, quality gear within your budget. Enjoy the music, and remember, honesty is the best policy.